Hello everybody and welcome to the whatever day of Halloween scary stories, and I'm gonna be doing the third Dear David stories. And if let me know if you'll enjoy the last two, going on three. If you do, please let me know. There's gonna be a little bit more. I don't know, I'm gonna do 10 or 11 parts, but at least you know there. And not only the Dear David, but others. And if you do, please like, please subscribe if you haven't already. My name's Hannah, and let other people to know that I'm doing scary stories or scary things for the month of October, and have them subscribe and like other videos and watch and so on. And let's just get started with the part 3 of Dear David. Tuesday, November 28th, 2017. A lot has happened the last week, but I was away Thanksgiving. So I'm just now able to write all it down. Thread. The noises from the ceiling haven't let up, but the pull in order didn't arrive before I had to leave for the holiday, so I didn't actually get it until late Friday night. I planned to investigate the next morning when I went to bed. I barely fell asleep when I woke up an incredible loud crash above me. It sounded like someone has dropped a bowling ball, but I bolted upright in bed and immediately felt strange. There was a weird energy all around me. I can't explain it. After about a minute, I heard another crash. I briefly thought about grabbing my shoe and booking it, but I would mean passing under the hatch, and that seemed like a bad idea. So instead, I listened and waited, although I'm not sure for what. The crash happened again, and then again, probably 15 times in a row. I followed by a long silence. Then I heard a smaller creak sound from the hallway. In my mind, I registered it as a footstep, but I really could have been anything. I stayed still, but there was no more sound after that. I laid back down, still tensed and nervous, but I must have fallen asleep at some point because I woke up the next morning and everything seemed normal again. I got dressed and left to go get a bagel, same as every Saturday. I made to my way downstairs. Something crunched under my feet. I looked down and noticed a pile of the debris on the stairs directly under the hatch. It looked like dirt, but I couldn't tell for certain. I could have been old plaster or something. I glanced up at the hatch, noticed something else. The edge of something was caught in it, barely poking out. It's hard to see because it's so far up, but I took a photo. At this point, bagels were the last thing on my mind. I went back upstairs and grabbed the pole. I set my camera on the coat wardrobe on top of the stairs and hit record, but to make sure it would be caught on video if a demon burst out of the hatch. I jumped out of the way and practically fell downstairs was a bunch of whatever it was that fell. At first I thought it was the dead squirrel, which I would honestly explain a lot. It hit the steps, bounced down first floor. I went upstairs to get my phone and collapsed the pole. Since it was so long and unwieldy, then went back downstairs to investigate the object that fell. At first, I wasn't even sure what it was. It was dangling, faded black. I picked it up and realized what it was. It was a small leathered shoe, and it was like probably like a shoe from like the 80s or something. I hustled back upstairs and texted my landlord. I told him I thought there was something in the crawl space and asked if he could investigate. He said he'd come over later with a ladder to check it out. A few hours later, my landlord was on a ladder shining a flashlight into the crawl space. I stared at him, half expecting something to grab him and yank him into the darkness. He angled the flashlight all around and finally says, "There's nothing up here." But then he was like, "Oh wait," I watched as he reached up into the emptiness with his free arm. Then he pulled it back, and he had something small and round in his hand. He climbed down the ladder and handed it to me. Again, I wasn't quite sure what I was looking at. It was smooth, shiny, and first I thought it was an old piece of candy, but it was cold. It was cold and too heavy to be a candy. After a second, I realized it was a marble. It was so worn out that it hasn't registered as a marble at first. Its a shape also short of weird and a little lump of one end. And it was like a green little marble. My landlord seemed unbothered for the most part. Okay, dude, and told me to call him if I hear anything else. I went inside and headed to my office to see if I could figure anything out about the marble that's somehow made its way in my ceiling. I had nothing to go on, and in short, I didn't really learn much, but I did figure out the bumps of the marbles, I think. Apparently in the early 1900s, they made marbles by hand and cut a big metal scissors, which could mean marbles is probably really old. Anyway, now I have a decrepit old shoe and a marble sitting on my dresser. I guess this is a new normal. Tuesday, December 12th, 2017. Sorry for the long break. I haven't been feeling great the past couple weeks and haven't had time to update thread. There's also hasn't much to say. For the most part, wasn't sleeping well, and I was having weird dreams, but they were vague and hard to describe. I'm sleepy all day long, and I've been getting suddenly busted of dizziness. I choked it up to always having earbuds cramping in. and made a mental note to get my ears checked. Other than that, things were pretty quiet. I sort of fooled myself into thinking that finding those items in the attic somehow ended up like this. Not that way, not that would make any much sense. But last week something started to happen. Late Wednesday, I woke up with a with a stir and felt something strange, like something had just been watching me. I turned on the light, but I was alone. Still, there was this tangible feeling of madness. Everything felt wrong. Sort of like when you have the flu and wake up at night and can't really tell where you are for a minute. I was feeling I'm used to it. It always accompanies David. People tweet me a lot saying he might just need help. But I'm certain that's not the case. Every time he shows up, I feel a palpable sense of malice. There's what I felt that night. Malice, dreaded, but still I was alone. I was so tired and wound up in just going back to sleep. I've been so exhausted lately and I can barely function. The next morning the same thing happened. I woke up suddenly, felt like I had missed seeing something. Like a candle had just gone out. I could still smell it. Although about using the pet cam from the living room to monitor my bedroom while I slept, but the crowd was too short to get the camera high enough to see the entire room. So I improvised. I downloaded an app that makes a photo every 60 seconds. The set my phone on top of a bookcase. It's almost 7 feet tall, so it had a pretty good view of my bed and the surrounding the room. Then I went to sleep. Just like before, I joined awake hours later, felt the same uneasy. I turned on the light and hurried out of bed to get my phone from the bookcase. There was probably 350 photos scrolling through. The vast majority of them were me sleeping in an empty room. It's sort of dark, but you can see me sleeping. I left a couple lights just in case anything shows up. But for the first 100 or so photos, it was me in an empty room. Then suddenly he was there, standing on the chair on the foot of the bed, staring at me. In the next photo, from a minute later, he seemed like staring straight at me, staring straight up at the ceiling, just staring. Then he appears to collapse on the chair. Next dozen photos are the same. He's completely lifeless. At first, I thought he was dead, which obviously doesn't make any sense. I looked over the chair, half expecting him to still be there, but it was empty. But then the next photo, he's gone. The room is totally empty again. He's gone in the next silver photos too. I figured maybe that was it, but I kept swiping through the photos. About 15 photos later, he was back standing next to my bed. It was just the last time I saw him. That's when my heart started racing. I didn't want to look at the rest of the photos, but I knew I had to. I swept the next photo and my heart sank to my stomach. The next photo was worse and the next one was worse. The next photo he was staring right at the camera. I'm gonna lighten. Ooh. After that, there was seemingly nothing. He disappeared again for the rest of the scrolls. He just me alone in the room again. This is until the last photo. I'm at the lost of words. I'm pale form ear that stringy hair. I didn't even know what to think. I looked all over my room but couldn't find anything. And honestly, I've been so exhausted, I didn't know how to process it. Even now, all I want to do is just sleep. December 20th, 2017. Hey everyone, I'll be gone for the next week visiting family back home in Montana for the holidays. It'll be nice to get away from this for a bit. Thanks for the kind words lately. I'll see you when I get back. January 2nd, 2018. So I've been away from the city for a couple of weeks. Thread. I went home to Montana for the holidays and I almost immediately I started to feel better. Less tried, less foggy up to now. I haven't really entertained the thought of moving, thinking that David would probably just follow me wherever I go. But then I left Montana. Everything seemed to improve. Like maybe David wouldn't follow me after all. Maybe he tied the home, not me. Being home felt safer. I managed to relax for a bit. I started browsing listings for new apartments back in New York. The last thing I wanted to move in the middle of the winter, but after the past few months, it seemed like it might be worth it. It felt like there might be a way out. But after a few days, I started to feel strange again. One night, I got up to go to the bathroom as I stood there in the dark, I couldn't help feeling like there was something moving outside my bathroom window. The bathroom looks out into the backyard and it was pitch black. I could barely see anything, but it's Montana. There are animals passing through all the time. Sure enough, in the morning, I found animal tracks through the snow. I don't know the Pacific animal. Deer, elk, and here are. I don't know how well you guys can see it, but the next night, the same thing happened. I got up in the middle of the night and thought I saw a movement in the blackness outside. This time I stood in the window and gazed out, straining my eyes to see, waiting for the adjustment to the night. For a long time I stared out into the snowy darkness, but I couldn't see any movement. Then just as I was about to turn away, I saw something lurch off off to the right and disappear from view. Again, it was too dark to make the animal, but I could have seen it been anything. Maybe a coyote or something. This morning, as I got In the morning, as I was getting out of the shower, I glanced out of the window and noticed tracks behind the garage. I couldn't tell what they were from the bathroom, so I got dressed and put the coat on and went outside. When I got close, my heart typically stopped. They weren't tracks, they were footsteps, really small footsteps. I followed them across the backyard, but they disappeared through the ditch out back. I stood there in the snow, not knowing what to do. What could I do? Call the cops and tell them I found footprints in the snow? Last night, last couple nights, I was too scared to leave my room. If it had been David out of there in the snow, it might that could have followed me anywhere. No matter where I moved, he could have found me. I felt hopeless. I flew back to New York the next day after Christmas, but back in my apartment. It seemed like I was at square one yet again. I've tried everything. I can't think of anything. I'm saged my apartment. I've hired a medium. Nothing has worked. And worse, I still feel him at night, watching me different corners of my room. I always get closer and waking up right before something happens. For the past few nights, I've been using that app that takes photos every couple minutes, but nothing has shown up. For whatever reason, doesn't seem to work anymore, but I've left it running just in case it picks up absolutely nothing. Save save for one thing from last night. Then he was hovering above my bed, staring down at me. His mouth was moving faster than it should be. I I couldn't move. I could only look up at him. Last night was practically bad. I felt sick and nightmares all night. I dreamt that David was hovering in the corner by the ceiling, far from the ground. He was mouthing something, but I couldn't hear any words. Suddenly, he plumped downwards and felt this huge pressure crash into my chest. I woke up gasping, and the wind completely knocked out of me. I sat up and looked around, frantically heavy of air, but there was nothing. When I caught my breath, I retrieved my phone from the dresser. The photo roll showed me nothing of a note saved for the last photo taken moment before. You could little see, but I don't know what to do. I'm lost here. I just don't know. January 16th, 2018. Sorry for the long delay. Honestly, I wasn't sure what I was going to tweet again. Thread. After what happened a couple weeks ago, everything stopped. Well, sort of. I wasn't having dreams anymore, and I was feeling better. I was sleeping through the night again. I actually feeling great. I still do. But things were sort of weird too. It's hard to explain. I'll try, but I don't know if anything of it explains sense. Basically, as as things has been for the past couple weeks, I can't shake the feeling of something is off. Like I've been sleeping fine and I have lots of energy during the day, but sometimes seem sort of I seem to sort of lost time, I guess, which I look up at the clock and realize a whole hour has passed, has gone by, and I don't remember any of it. Or I will mishear someone and ask them to repeat what they say, but they'll say they didn't say anything. Little stuff like that. But after what I've been through, that's not a big deal. Despite all of it, I felt ready to put all of it behind me. So so on Sunday, I opened Twitter intending to update you all that it was all over, or at least I thought so. I just wanted things to go back to the way they were, and it seemed like they had. I was writing something to that effect when I noticed I had more notifications than usual. I swiped to my mentions and saw that everyone was tweeting me about something I posted on to my Instagram story the day before, saying I saw something weird. The stories were expired now, but I have screenshots and I don't know how to explain it. Long story short, I went to brunch on Saturday with a friend. I posted a few photos on my story, and they were fairly unremarkable. There was two. The first two I posted was totally dumb and normal. There were they totally boring brunch photos. I posted one more one more photo of me with my friend before leaving, and was that. But the next day, I was zillion messages about the third photo I posted. People had taken screenshots and sent it to me. This is what somehow got uploaded to my Instagram story. I have no clue what happened. It looked perfectly fine on the phone when I uploaded it. I'd say it was a glitch, but I can't make sense of what's happening with my face. Maybe I can. I know what it looks like. What it probably is, but I don't know if I care anymore. I really just wanted things to be normal again, and things feel normal enough right now. I don't know. I guess I'll keep you updated. Something else happens. Maybe I can. I know what it looks like. I think I already read that part. January 20th, 2018. And then there was a video, but I can't show you guys because it's screenshots. So, February 3rd, 2018. Everything is fine. February 14th, 2018. Please don't worry about me. I'm okay. Everything will be like it was before. And then there was a little video clip with it. March 28th. For someone asking if I'm alive, I'm doing okay. It's been pretty quiet around me here lately, and I've been trying to focus on work. Of course, I'll be keeping updates if anything strange happens. For now, I'm busy with drawing other projects. And it seems like that's all I have, and that'll be all with the Dear David stories. So I guess there's just 3, and I hope you guys enjoy it. If you do, please like, subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.